She stood in the middle of the crowd, waiting for the end. She knew it was over. The crowd shouting for her blood, judging her condemned. Everybody knew. Then the teacher, he nailed to the ground, and he wrote in the sand, your sins are forgiven. Slowly but slowly the rocks dropped to the ground, and there she stood, just her and her Savior. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. I stood right where she stood, wondering if I would ever be whole again. Then the healer, the balm of Gilead, he called my name and he gave me new life again. Put a new song into my soul, redeemed and restored. Now I sing immortal praise, and it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said there is forgiveness, there is grace. Let the land make you new again. Here in His love and arms, you can be safe. Rest and listen to the sound of peace. It's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace. Oh, it is the sound, it's the sound of grace. Said it's the sound, it's the sound of grace.
That was Nima with the sound of grace. Welcome to AC 165 Radio. This is your host, Steen, with the voice of Erica 165. And happy Tuesday. We're normally not here on Tuesday. This is our special Universal Day of Grace show. So we came in today just to talk about grace and encourage you, give you the opportunity to talk about how you plan to extend grace or how you receive grace today, this morning, if you want to. The number is 619-393-2881. So you can call in if you want to. Give me a few minutes, though, because it looks like my computer's running really slow. It took me a minute to get into my studio. But Universal Day of Grace, what does that mean? What is grace? we're going to talk about today. And talk about extending it. We've been talking about actually for a couple of weeks, and for the month of April, we were limitless, and we were preparing ourselves for this day. And actually, I didn't even know it when I started it. You know, that's how the universe works. That's how God works. He puts things together. You don't know why in the world you're doing it, but you do it. You know what I mean? And it comes back around, and it fits together like a nice puzzle, and I really love that. I love when he does that. But we talked about being limitless and expanding our borders and growing. So that's what we want to do. We want to grow. And being good gatekeepers of our atmosphere. And we prepared ourselves to walk into this month. Happy May. Today is the 1st of May. And May we're dedicating to freedom. The entire month. So we're talking about freedom this entire month. But today we're talking about grace. And grace is like a pardon. It's a pardon. We hear the word pardon, we think of a presidential pardon or a gubernatorial pardon, even a mayoral pardon or a judicial pardon. A pardon is a release, basically. A release from guilt, a release from accusation, a release from every negative thing that's associated with a particular thing. And some of us need to give out some pardons. Some of us need to pardon ourselves. You know, when I thought about this and when I put this together, I basically wanted to give everybody a reprieve. We need a break. There's been so much drama and tension and war and rioting, and it's been good, honestly. You know, you see the riots in Egypt and in Africa and in the Middle East and even here with the Occupy movement. You guys, I love those people. With the Occupy movement, people are ready for a change. And we left it in governmental hands, didn't we, to provide us with that change. But now what we're seeing is we are seeing we the people rising up and taking our authority to make the changes that we want. And it's a beautiful thing. But with any war, any type of uprising, comes a little weariness, you know? Have you ever been in a battle? And this is a battle. We're in a battle. We've been in a battle since last year, actually. A tangible, a physical, a carnal battle. Some of us have been in spiritual battles on and off all our lives, so we've been in this battle for a little over a year now. And it seems as though we haven't had a break. Yeah, there's been some good news. And there's been some good things that have happened, some good things that have come about. And some of the riots have been productive. A lot of them have. And some of them are kind of stagnant. But regardless of the result, we're tired. Okay? We're internalizing all of this information. We're internalizing all of these fights. You know, I love international news. I love to know what's going on in the world. And you guys, those of you who are listening for the first time, welcome. But those of you who have been with me for a year, you know that I am actively watching to see what goes on in the world, because what goes on in the global atmosphere dictates what goes on in my personal atmosphere and your personal atmosphere as well. So I'm very involved in that and very keen on that and very open and receptive to it. And even myself sometimes when I see what's going on in Syria and in Sudan and in Egypt and even right here in the United States, you know, my heart goes out to it, you know, but it becomes tiresome because it's been constant. It's been a constant battle. So I know I need a break, because if I'm internalizing that stuff, you guys are too. You know, even if you don't follow international global news as closely as I do, you still hear about it. You hear about it at work. You hear about it on the news, your local news. You hear about it, you know, just being online on Facebook, on Twitter. You know, I tell people all the time, you don't even have to watch TV. Just go to Twitter. Everybody tweets everything on Twitter, right? But it becomes work. It becomes tiring. So we need a reprieve. So that's what today is about. It's about releasing and giving yourself and the world and the people in your personal atmosphere a reprieve. Because not only do we have the global things going on, we have national things going on, but we have personal things going on, don't we? Some of us, when we became limitless and we expanded our boundaries, one thing, a few things that we had to do was cancel some relationships, end some relationships, move on in some relationships, okay? And that in itself can become tiring because it becomes worrisome. Worry wears you out. Worry is a form of stress. Okay, so in all forms of our atmosphere, we have been in some sort of battle, in some sort of change. And change stretches you, okay? It stretches you. And when you stretch, like when you go to exercise, you stretch before you exercise. Even sometimes the stretching wears you out. So we've been stretching, and we've been growing, and we've been changing, and we've been moving borders, pushing back walls, knocking down walls, and we're tired. So we're giving ourselves and those in our atmosphere a reprieve. And how are we doing that? We're extending grace in those situations. Those people that you're angry with or those situations that you're mad at, I want you to extend grace to that situation. But before you do, and I say this all the time, before you can extend anything to anybody, you have to receive it yourself. So think back to your graceful situations, when someone extended grace to you, or when God extended grace to you. Okay, some of us been in situations, some of us shouldn't even be here. Amen? Some of us should not even be alive. Okay? But grace. Okay? Some of us shouldn't be walking, but grace. Some of us shouldn't be healed, but grace. Okay? And some of us shouldn't be forgiven, but grace. Okay? Some of us have relationships and renewed relationships and mended relationships because of grace. Someone extended grace to us. Okay? So I want you to think back to all those situations, all those times when someone or when God extended grace to you in a situation. I just want you to meditate on that. Because that feeling that you get, that feeling that you have when you receive grace, we need to have the desire, create the desire to allow others to have that same feeling. Okay? So we're going to let go. We're going to let go. We're going to meditate a little bit, and we're going to let go. And I'm going to play this song. This is normally our Friday song, but I didn't get to play it on Friday. This is Miss Laura Clapton, Just Let Go. And this song will help you let go a little bit so that you can get ready to extend grace.
Fall's coming on, I feel my world changing. Another season gone by, I'm gonna try to just let go. Gonna ride the wind, see where it takes me. Be a prisoner no more, find what I'm looking for and just let go. If I could just let go of all my fears I've held on to for all these years. Therefore now, not yesterday, it's long gone. It's time to move on and just let go. Leave my life wide open, live wild and free. Never judge by the cover, learn to trust each other and finally see. If I could just let go of all my fears I've held on to for all these years, live for now, not yesterday, it's long gone. Time to move on, just let go. Well, life moves too quickly, you feel yourself slipping, but know that it's okay to fall if you just let go of all your sins you've held on to for all these years. Live for now, not yesterday, it's long gone. If I could just let go of all my fears I've held on to for all these years. Live for now, not yesterday, it's long gone. Time to move on, just let go. Just let go.
Love that song. Love that song. Laura Clapp, Just Let Go. You can check her out at lauraclapp.com. 2 P's in her last name. Get that song. I love that song. It really uplifts me. And when I need to let go, I turn that stuff on. I love that song. But one of the lyrics in there says, I'm going to let go of all my fears. Time to move on. And fear can cause you to not extend grace. But we're limitless. We said yesterday fear can be a slave master. But we took the limits off, right? We got rid of that word but. We took the limits off and we said fear is not our slave master. We are free. Okay? Fear will tell you not to say sorry. Fear will tell you not to say grace. Let me tell you something. My first experience and opportunity to extend grace was an epic fail. Today it was an epic fail. Got up later than I wanted to. I wanted to do the show at 10, but you see we did it at 11. So I'm running around, I got things I have to do. And my mom called me and just at the wrong time. I went to bed late, I was cranky, and because I wanted to spend some time in meditation and prayer this morning, and I didn't get the opportunity to do it correctly and spend as much time as I wanted to in meditation and prayer. So I really didn't fully let go. And she just asked me a simple question, and I snapped at her. And she was like, well, you don't have to be so, you don't have to get mad about it, And I had to think about it. I was like, dang, I did get mad. But I tried to justify my anger. I tried to justify my anger with her, but then I had to go back and I had to apologize. I said, yeah, I was wrong. I was just cranky. But fear tried to tell me not to. We don't like to be wrong. One of our keys in area code 165 is the key of knowledge and the key of wisdom. Wisdom says you don't know everything. You don't know everything. So you can be wrong. And knowledge says be in an attitude of learning. So we always have to be in an attitude of learning. If we have that mindset, we won't have the mindset of I know everything or I can't be wrong. And fear told me not to apologize. And fear said don't make it right. And fear said don't extend grace. But I said, fear, you can kiss my behind because you're not my slave master anymore. See, little opportunities like that. See, that's how you get at that slave master fear. Little things. And it'll encourage you and it'll build you up. Okay? And it will allow you to be a stronger opponent You're not afraid to get in the ring with fear. But fear is no longer our slave master. You can check out the show tomorrow. Actually, we're going to be putting shows on YouTube. Some of them starting back, I think, Wednesday of last week. We're going to be putting shows on YouTube also. I found out how to do that. It's pretty cool. So we'll put them on our YouTube channel so you guys can see that. And I know I talk fast sometimes, but I have little notes on there for you. It's really cute. So this show will be on YouTube also. So we'll get it uploaded. And I'll send a message out on Blog Talk Radio when those are loaded where you can go find them. But you can always listen to the archive. So we said we are free. And fear, you are not my slave master. Okay? So when an opportunity comes and you don't extend grace and you recognize it, number one, receive grace. I had to receive grace. And I said, Lord, forgive me. Okay? I had to receive grace in the situation because if not, I would have beat myself up for at least the next couple of hours. Okay? Because those words, you don't have to be mad about it. Stuck. Right? What do we say about a hit dog? Hit dog always gonna holler because I was out of pocket and I was wrong. And we receive grace and then we give it back. We extend it. We say, fear, you are not my slave master. So don't be afraid. And some of you are in situations right now where it may not even be something that you do today. Okay? But you know of that relationship that you need to extend grace to. But you're afraid to extend grace. Grace is extending forgiveness, compassion, love, joy, forgiveness, a pardon, mercy. Okay? Don't let fear be your slave master. Go ahead and extend grace. Okay? And as I said, some people you're mad at, they don't even know you're mad at them. Some of you are mad at celebrities. Some of you are mad at politicians. Some of you are mad at people that are in the news that you don't even met because of a story. And it's eating you up. Those people don't even know you. They don't even know you're mad at them. Extend grace. Say it out loud. Write it down on a piece of paper if you need to. Okay? Put it in your journal. All right? And say, you know what? I forgive you. I don't even know you. And I appreciate you. You know? Because we get mad at people we don't even know. And it's not even necessary. We get mad at situations for no reason. We hold on to that thing. And fear will tell you, oh, you don't need to do that. It's no big deal. No. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because it's eating you up. And fear, as your slave master, wants to, number one, keep you in fear. And number two, keep you in bondage. And number three, keep you from growing. See, the stronger you get as a human being, the more viable an opponent you are to fear. Okay? The more you learn, the more you grow. That's why when people are in slavery, they don't allow them to be educated. Even in current-day slavery. They don't allow you to be educated. They don't want you to grow. They don't want you to know things because they want to keep you in bondage. Don't let fear be your slave master and keep you in bondage. Okay? So different ways you can extend grace. You can extend grace, as I said, in compassion and in love. You can extend grace to strangers. You know that person that cut you off this morning? Or the person that might cut you off this afternoon? Person that cut you off in line? The rude caller, customer that you had to deal with? The rude caller on the telephone? Okay? The gas company, the electric company? Okay? That person that you see walking down the street struggling with those kids and all those bags? You can extend a little grace and compassion to help them out. The person next door, the elderly person next door down the street that's cutting their grass in the heat or in the rain or struggling with the garbage cans, you can extend grace a number of ways. So look for ways to extend grace. We talked about creating an atmosphere of support. Talked about that on last Wednesday. Creating a supportive atmosphere so that people in your atmosphere will be just as connected to you and be supportive of you, of your change and of your growth. When we did the show, we did it on being authentic and transparency. Okay? But creating this atmosphere of grace. Okay? How powerful will that be? You mess up, and somebody gives you grace. You know, our pastor told a story one time about, I love him. He told a story about one time how him and his wife was in an argument. And a member from the church called, actually I think it was the church secretary, called on his cell phone. And he answered it. He didn't answer it, but he hit the button. And the phone was on. And he didn't know the phone was on. So the woman, the secretary, heard the conversation, the argument. And in that argument, he was yelling and hollering and calling names and everything else. You know, and yes, some pastors do cuss. Give them grace. Give us grace. Okay? And he felt horrible because he noticed it. He noticed the phone was on. And he called her back and he apologized. And she extended grace to him. And she said, Pastor, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. And she did not tell anybody about what she heard. He told it. Okay? Grace. Grace. That's what we're talking about today. Universal Day of Grace. This is the first one. We're going to do this every year. And I want to thank everybody that's participating, everybody on causes.com, everybody on the Facebook page, everybody on Twitter that's retweeting the tweets. I'm still going to be sending out little blurbs and little messages to keep you in that attitude, you know, help you create that supportive atmosphere, but keep you in the attitude of grace. And just a reminder, not to bug you, but just to remind you and give you some idea. Okay? And if you want to share, go ahead and share. Share on Facebook, share on causes.com, share on Twitter how you extended grace and how you received grace. Okay? I'm going to get out of here. And I hope you guys have an amazing day full of grace. And don't beat yourself up if you don't extend grace like you planned on extending grace. Because one of the things that we remember and we recognize is every time we say, we put forth that we're going to do something, something always comes to challenge you. First thing this morning, I got a challenge. You're going to get a challenge. And if you don't pass, that's all right. Go back and make it right, all right? All right, you guys have an amazing day. And as I say every afternoon, free your mind, relax your mind, get plenty of rest so you can dream in big, bright, beautiful colors and look for your rainbow in the morning. I'm Steen. I'm out of here. You guys have an amazing, amazing day. Bye-bye.
She stood in the middle of the crowd, waiting for the end. She knew it was over. The crowd shouting for her blood, judging her condemned. Everybody